Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of EduHubSpot L&D Podcast series. And today we have Diya Asrani from Harness with us, who is the L&D partner of Harness. And welcome, Diya,
Thank
for
you.
the L&D podcast of EduHubSpot. And today I'm very much excited to discuss, a lot of shifts that has coming to, learning and development, especially from the AI adoption,
Sure.
reskilling, workforce transformation. So before we dive into, the details and the themes of our today's discussion, I would like to know a little more about you, your career journey, how your roles looks like at Harness, and how your journey is going in the learning and development space.
Okay. Thank you so much for having me here. A little bit about me. So I've been in the training and coaching industry for more than 15 years. I started as a freelancer, then went into retail, then I was on my own, and then I was just trying to like dabble with the whole thing of learning and development throughout my entire career. And then there was this one moment when I started my own business in coaching during COVID, which actually got me to understand the power of learning and development even in depth, especially for corporates. So that's what got me to build this whole thing of I need to do something in L&D. And for me, L&D has been a mix of a lot of learning and unlearning on the journey. And not only that, there's also the whole idea of the human side of things. And with AI coming in, there is also something that we need to be very, very mindful that we as humans play a huge role here. So that's what I wanted to work on, and that's what got me to get into Harness so that I can shape the culture here. Because Harness as well is a very growing and very adaptable company in itself. And because we are everything AI after code, I said, why not? Let's just do this and let's build the culture over here. So I'm here for that and I'm really excited.
Thank you so much, Diya, and thanks for explaining. I really see a lot of, that people who are coming from their learning and experiences have come into learning profession.
Yes.
And the initiative that they from L&D, it's not just as a role, but more as a, your experience, what you have seen, which change that you could bring for the organization, right? So thanks for sharing, Diya. And I think it really, it helps our audience also to understand more about Harness, especially in the field of, DevOps and CI/CD.
Of course.
It's a, continuous integration that you are, this is space you are in. Another thing that we have seen that Jyoti Bansal have, founded App Dynamics and have sold it to Cisco for about, if I'm not wrong, it's approximately 3.7 billion. So
maybe you've done your research.
That's all. Yes. So it's absolutely to know, because that's the credibility as a company Harness that holds. And, and I see now they are, spreading their wings across and coming up with more and more R&D presence in India.
Yes.
So how do you have to say something about that?
Well, I think it's also more of an awareness that people need, and especially in a country like ours, where it's, ever changing, ever growing, there is new talent. So, I mean, everyone needs to know that Harness is the place to be when it comes to everything that is beyond code. Because if we don't understand, I mean, of course, we have a huge presence in, globally, like in SF and, EMEA and everywhere. So we do have that presence, that visibility. But in India, it's more to do with catering, or I would say connecting with our audience to understand why is it so important to be here, and why is this company, what is it doing, and what can be done to make software engineers have their work more simplified, and things go more seamlessly when you're actually shipping products or shipping anything that comes your way when it comes to any company.
Right, absolutely rightly said, Diya. I can totally relate, because I see a lot of organizations on the different lines. I'm not saying that on the same industry front, but they are more into understanding the awareness from AI, wherein Harness is something that now building their own agents, right? AI and solving so many problems in terms of decision, and maybe pipeline. They will want to fix the pipeline code and maybe the cloud cost. So it's becoming like very interesting, and it is going to be incredibly valuable from today's podcast to know more in the field of when a company is already in a verge of adopting and even building their own agent of AI. So that's about it. Thanks, Diya, for answering for letting us know about your introduction. So I'll move ahead with the very first question of today's theme. So the first question would be that you have seen a lot of that, organizations are investing on AI, right? A lot of AI learnings, and there are a lot of strategies you also might be building for your teams. But when it comes for an adoption, right? That becomes slower after the first pilot versions. So what is the biggest barrier that you have seen so far for, enterprise-wide AI adoption?
See, I think there are two things. One is, of course, the pilot purgatory, which is basically you have so many pilots, you keep doing pilots, and then you realize it's not working, and then you quit. So a lot of companies do that. But at a company like ours, we are trying to avoid that as much as possible because we believe in the less is more. So when we're doing certain things that are very intentional, like if we have something that we want to pilot, like an AI adoption or like AI tool, for example, we want to pilot it, but we know what is the end goal of it. That is what matters in an organization development when it comes to AI adoption. That's one thing. That's one thing that, pilots are like this thing that every organization does, and then they realize that no, it doesn't work. So you have to kind of see what is it that we are gaining from adopting AI. Just because AI is there doesn't mean that, okay, chalega, whatever we are doing, we'll put it. It doesn't work like that. We have to see what is actually in alignment with our business goals. Absolutely. And then work on that. That's one thing which I feel is holding people back, organizations back. The other thing I would see in this case is that the mindset. I mean, a lot of people are still thinking that, hey, what is this? It's just another passing trend. But very honestly, it's not.
It's not.
Because AI is something that is really happening. It's like things are changing. You don't know. I mean, today you're like, yeah, okay, I'm using the different tools. Tomorrow you'll be like, the tools are using you. It is like that,
Yeah, absolutely.
So we don't know. So we have to work with it to understand how we can use it as something that adds to us, to our, maybe our skills, or maybe the way we do our work, or way we kind of, present ourselves, or maybe put ourselves out there in an organization. How are we using it as a support tool, not as something that replaces us? So these are the two things I feel that hold us back. A lot of organizations feel that, AI is coming, that means my job is gone.
Yes,
that's
absolutely.
not true.
There are many organizations who have fired,
they always
10,000
yeah
people,
and for no see
people.
I understand, okay, I get where they're coming from. Sometimes what happens is when you are trying to adopt AI, there are a lot of people who don't have those skills. Now this is my understanding about it, and from what I've been reading, is that when you upskill yourself in AI and you stop telling yourself that, hey, this is only my job, this is what I have to do, that's when you will actually see the change, and you will notice that you are blending in with that whole transformation and the whole evolution of AI. But if you say that, hey, this is not for me, this is not my skill, and I'm not here to learn this, I'm not here for AI, then you're losing out. You're 100%
Absolutely.
losing
And
out.
I'm sure now people, being serious about it after seeing a lot of people are firing and AI coming into picture.
It's about, basically learning and unlearning. Certain things that you can't do, which AI can do better for you,
right?
Why not? But
something
you can do something else.
There are a lot of tasks that it can be replaced. It's just that on the awareness stage that the organizations are in. So it's a good.
And see, we all are adapting. We all are somewhere, thinking of, okay, how are we going to make this better? Right? It's not about, okay, this is going to take my job away. No, you have to change your mindset and think that, okay, this is not going to take my job away. It's going to actually enhance my job.
Yes.
That's what we're looking for over here. So that's the change we need over here. Yes.
Right. Yeah, I totally, resonate with what you have said, Diya. And continuation in the same line, I have another question. So when you say that, with the, like this blending approach where they should not feel that AI is kind of replacing them, instead it is enhancing their tasks and their job. So as a adoption method, how do you think that, L&D team can help these employees to, make it more, means the adoption rate if we have to increase? So how we can achieve this?
See, it's not, I wouldn't say that it's a one size fits all. And I wouldn't say that because I'm in L&D, I'll give a course and they're going to learn it. Today, courses are freely available online. You can just go and look at anything and you'll find it.
Yes.
Here we're talking about how do I apply it in my work? Right? How do I use it in the job that I am currently? Like, I'm an L&D partner. How do I use it in my job to enhance my job? That's the mindset. So the way we think about it is what matters, which will get us to really use it as something that the company can adapt to, and can move with it. So, getting people to learn, yes, there's one level where you have a course, you have a program, this is it. But there's another side to it, that, okay, how will this be something that I can use in my daily use, like my daily work. So I would do it every day, wherein, I would at least spend like 30 minutes a day figuring out a tool or, seeing that, okay, how best can I work on this? Being curious, being courageous is what is so important, because with that, the confidence comes in partnering with AI.
Right.
And that's how you learn and you grow your mindset. I think this is also an example of, continuous learning. It's like, we read books, we keep thinking that, okay, books are going to give us, but what about actually applying it? Same thing with AI,
Right.
So much of information around, how we are applying it. That's what we have to
just,
look at.
they are a step away from practicing it on real time, relating it with what they are
and
doing.
See, the technical side is 10%, but the actual application skills is 90%. L&D does the 90% of that. So that's pretty much what it is.
Yeah. So I have a very silly question onto the same, just with the flow. It has come to my mind. So I really want to discuss, because I have heard from many of the other people as well from the L&D space. So when we see people, with the same mindset, they have that courage to, invest their timings, but their calendar doesn't allow. So you might have, come across to this many times. How do we solve this?
So that's what that comes down to, even understanding how we play smart in weaving learning into work. Like making people understand that learning is not something that I pull away from work and I learn it. It is also something that can be done within work. It can be integrated in your work, right? Like, so things like that. So I would say, something like micro learning, bite-sized chunks of videos, going and just taking that time off. I mean, just think about it this way, okay? We all have a certain time in a day where we take off for ourselves. We try, like either it's working out or doing something. In this case, if you feel it's a moral responsibility to learn about AI and to grow with it because it's your career development, wouldn't you take that time out?
Absolutely.
It's just a mindset again. Yes. Because back again, it's not about, I don't have time. That is like I think it's more like an excuse, I would say, that I just don't have time, because you're so used to it.
Yeah.
And it's a psychological thing that we don't have so much. We have to work 9 hours a day, so we don't have time to do this when you have all the time in the world.
Right. I see there is very, the irony of this situation is where there is a push from the learning team, okay, that this is another BU. There is a request from them, and BU has the constant push.
Yeah.
That, I want my team to be ready with this particular tool of AI. And okay, so L&D team has, come up with everything. They come up with the agenda, TOC, everything shared. And then again, the deadlines are being pushed.
Yeah.
So this is again a constant, when I would say, yes, mindset again is somewhere it helps, but it keeps pushing. Even the BU support as a business, we need the support from the business to keep pushing it and, fixing it for a particular time. So what do you have to say about this?
See, I think it's also driving the whole idea of a learning strategy to a business goal. If you don't put that into the mindset of people, though I'm saying mindset because it is that, but if you don't tell people that, learning is connected to performance, learning is connected to your business goal, people will not take it seriously. They will say, okay, some other time. Ye to priority nahi hai.
Right.
I don't need this. I can do my own thing and then I can go ahead. But actually, if you think about it, it is a priority. Because if you don't do it today, what's going to happen to you maybe 3 months later?
Exactly.
Maybe 3-6 months. I don't know, but it's possible, right?
Yes, absolutely.
So anything is possible.
Right. Thanks for answering this, Diya.
And the thought process about learning. How are we going to survive?
Exactly. So
today everyone is talking about, "Arey yaar, I'm going to lose my job. Arey yaar, this is going to happen. Somebody else is going to replace me. Then they'll not like my work. Then I'll not be able to I'm not perfect." I mean, AI also is not perfect.
Not perfect.
We are still learning
it. Yes.
And if you know, AI is never going to be perfect. You're always going to be there as human in the loop to figure out where are the errors. That is going to be your skill.
Yes.
To figure out where has AI gone wrong.
Right.
It's nothing is perfect here. If it was perfect, then why are we existing?
That's a very beautiful line that you have said, that, it can make error, and we practicing it can also, find out the loopholes.
See, we can make errors. We are human. Right. But AI is like this new thing that is coming in where everybody is talking. It's a wave, right?
It's a wave.
But the wave is becoming something that is going to be a consistent thing. Think of even the work that we do at home. Right. Now we have iRobot and all those things happening, and our work has become so much easier.
Yeah.
Algorithms are working like left, right, and center, where they want to give you what you want to see. Right? If you look at your phone, it's full of what you want. what you need. Be it Instamart, be it Instagram, be it WhatsApp, I don't know, you name it, though they say encrypted and all that, I'm sorry, I'm using the word, it's BS. It's nothing is like that. It's all just, it is a lot to do with, we being so wired with technology,
right,
that it is so important for us to understand how it reads us, how we can read it in the process. That is very, very important.
Right, that's the main essence. I feel that this is especially when it is initial stage, and we also have that opportunity to get along. Is what people are missing in, because I see a lot of other kind of like people who have that keen interest on what next.
What next?
What next, and they keep coming. So we call it now that AI champions. So we name them. They are using a lot of different tools, coming up with even more brilliant ideas.
So
this difference is something
of course
people can relate. So as a next question, Diya, I have a question. Which is not, I would say it's very appealing, but or I would say it's a kind of a that kind of a question which comes into my mind and has become a problem, that when organizations realize that there is a need, right, of AI adoption, there is a push from the learning team, but why there is a hesitation in terms of investing for this from the business end? That is a very big question that I have today for all the organizations out there, because I see a lot that L&Ds are asking that we are new, we are not aware, we don't know what exactly needs to be done, what TOC is required from this BU. So we have answers, we have solutions. The request is that when you have that, you have an environment where this particular tool can be fit, and you have that surety this is going to work for you, after even having these security checks, still I see there is an hesitation. So what do you have to say about it?
So see, I think one of the things that every organization should know is that it's your leadership that plays a role over here. If your leadership is not aligned with you, that's the problem. That's one thing. The second thing is the culture. So these are two things, because there are a lot of companies who say this is how it works, this is how we are, this is how we're going to continue. If you're going to stick with that, you're never going to be able to adapt or adopt anything, right? Be it AI, be it any topic, be it L&D in the first place. So that's one thing. So the culture change has to be there. It starts with people. Every company is about people. So if the people are right in the company, a lot of changes can be very, very seamless. And having the right conversation to connect the dots with the business goals is what is so important. That's how we learn, right? But in the end, it's about having the right conversation and having the right culture that would, help you set that whole base of being creative and getting out there and putting it out there. So that's one thing. Second thing, of course, is the leadership. The leadership has to be aligned with you in some sort of way. Not to say that, let me go and read about it. It's also about trusting that, okay, there is a process in how we move forward and how we partner with AI. I always tell this even to, my people and places team and everybody, we always have these conversations. We say that, as long as we are being strategic partners, that's what matters. If we know that we have to partner up, that's what matters. You partner with me, I partner with you. We work on this together. You do your bit, I do my bit, move forward. That's how we can adopt.
Wow.
So that is pretty much how I see it. And of course, culture is everything. I don't even think it's about how much you know. It's about how much you do. And it's also about what kind of conversations you're having with your team. That's what matters. Yeah.
Yes. The very one word you have said about trust, it really matters, because, they need to understand from where it is coming from, what you are trying to solve. So yes, I think, you
trust is a huge thing. I think, we are in companies for a reason. We have been hired for a reason.
Right.
It's not just that, okay, chalo, she's got these many years of experience, so we'll see what she does. No, everyone's put an investment in this, So in the end, you are building that need, you're building that requirement, you're building everything through how you show up and how you present yourself. So that faith and trust has to come. And that is something that the leadership will understand when you start building it over the years or over the months.
Rightly said, Diya. Thank you for answering this question. Again, it is something, it's not there in the agenda, but yes, it's going really interesting. So here is the last question. And so finally we have come to the end. And my last question for you, Diya, would be that, that nowadays organizations are only focusing on large reskilling, large scale reskilling. So how it makes it different from the ones who are, like struggling to create a lasting workforce transformation?
Yeah, see, it's again coming down to it's boiling down to what's relevant, building learning paths that are connected to a person's role, and making sure that it is not a one size fits all. Because if it's not a one size fits all, then people they relate.
Right.
So I would say that reskilling should be like a need of the hour in an organization. It should not be just an option. Like now they say, no, L&D, some companies have L&D, some people don't have L&D.
Right.
But because they've not really seen the need and the requirement to really do it, they're not seeing the bigger picture yet. But if you actually think about it that way, when it comes to reskilling or anything, it's telling the person that, hey, there's nothing wrong with you. It's just that we are here to be continuous learners. And when we keep learning on the job, and when we keep learning and appreciating that there are these changes that we are going to be seeing, and we foresee it, that's where the actual action happens. When you decide to learn, when you decide to reskill, and it's like a responsibility for yourself that, okay, I am going to be doing this from now, and this is what I'm going to do, and this is how it's going to do. So organization has to be responsible for that.
Okay.
It's not just that, each person, some people think okay, some people think no, it's not required. It's like an entire thing. It's like, having a policy that you need to reskill yourself.
Yes.
So that would be one way to look at it. Another way to look at it is, of course, when I spoke about the learning parts. What I have seen as a thing, not only here, anywhere in any organization, that people want to see what's relevant to them. Like if I am a software developer, I need to see what's relevant to me in my career growth when it comes to anything, AI, leadership, anything. But I have to see how am I connected to that. Do I want to go in the same path, or do I want to change my career path? I have to have that option that makes sense.
Right.
In terms of, okay, this is where I can be. Having the larger picture, or having the end goal to who I want to be. It all boils down to that.
Right.
If you think about it. Because even if you look at AI, you're not looking at AI as a book to read.
So merely it is, depending upon the learning teams to push.
Exactly. It has to be connected.
Yeah,
it has to be connected. So now for me, I'm an L&D partner. So for me, I need to connect and see that, okay, if I were to reskill myself, what would actually get me to evolve either in L&D, or if I want to change my career path to something similar. But right now I'm in the L&D space. So I want to reskill in AI, or I want to reskill in a certain skill that would actually allow me to think beyond what I'm currently doing. So that is what I would say reskilling should be. It should be something that is like a policy, according to me, in any organization, that you should reskill yourself. You should be able to, come back and say, okay, after every 3 to 6 months that, okay, I need to work on this. I need to do this. This is something that it needs to be done, so that I can thrive in this.
So large skilling in your, beam is something that is possible.
Yeah.
And there is a good connect between or good alignment, I can say, between the people, business, and also from the learning team altogether, not just by a, tick box kind of a task from the learning team.
Yeah. That's pretty much it. And see, I would seriously agree on, learning never ends. Because even if you know a lot of things, I even feel leaders, like leaders should also understand that learning never ends. It's always going to be that when you know something, there are 10 more things that you need to know, which is, you might know one basic, but then there are like 10 other things that you did know. And it's okay to say that I don't know this.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I
feel it is more challenging for them because they get a kind of a workforce which is now coming up with a lot of AI background, right? A lot of AI information, and you have to deal with such people. You have to give them ideas. So for them, it is even much more pressure, is what I feel.
Absolutely,
right,
and
on top of the game.
So even if you think of it this way, there is no room for I know it all.
Yes.
It doesn't exist anymore. There was a time we thought we had the answers for everything. Now we don't have the answers for everything. We have to be okay to know that we don't know many things, which is what this era of AI is asking you to do.
Right.
So that you see it's not about you fitting in, it's about how you blend in. That's what matters. Yeah.
Absolutely great conversation, Diya. Thank you so much for
You're welcome.
joining us today, and this is very insightful. And we will definitely come back with more such episodes with other organizations.
Yes,
Thanks
please.
for sharing the insight.
Thank you
Diya.
so
Thank
much.
you so much.